Good morning from Barbados. Today we are flying into Tropical Storm Bret, as we all know. A storm that's not far from hurricane strength. It will be interesting to see what winds we get on our flight today, as well as the minimum central pressure. We are looking east right now, and amongst the large military planes here at the airport in Barbados, clouds in the distance resemble the edge of Bret, and we'll be heading over there soon. Temperature here is 27 degrees Celsius, and we've got a steady 20-knot wind, even though it's not particularly visible. We've got a breeze going on here. Our flight will take us into the storm, which is very close to Barbados already, so it's going to be quick, and then we will be buzzing around the storm for a while, as we do. And then afterwards we'll be going... Are you kidding me? They've inverted the controls again. That's annoying. I didn't even know. So that's fantastic. So up is down and down is up now. Great. And after we've flown into the storm, we will then be going to rest in Martinique. We'll probably get a good view of the storm in the late hours of the day there as well, if this was real. Disclaimer, this is virtual recon. It is not real, in case anyone was wondering. How real is it though compared to normal? It varies. We like to simulate as best we can the flying conditions and the conditions that you would expect, what you would expect a recon pilot and crew would see. And that's why we've called it virtual recon. Virtual hurricane hunters. Thanks for joining us. If you've got any comments or questions whilst we're on the air or in the air, feel free to share, and we can have a little chat conversation going. For some reason they've put a light in the middle of the taxiway, which isn't particularly safe. Where's this going? Yeah, it goes around here. We're navigating to the runway. We'll be taking off from east to west, so that means we'll have to do a circle round the island and then turn east, northeast into the storm. And you can see some of it in the distance. To be honest, I don't think we'll be needing autopilot for most of this flight. And like before, I still haven't changed my call sign since I did my remake of the flight to Gibraltar that I went on last summer on my personal channel, so you'll still hear the call sign. Why is there a truck in the middle of the taxiway? Is this even a taxiway? I mean, it sure looks like a taxiway. It's gotta be. It is a taxiway. Why is there a truck in the middle of it? Yeah, so you'll hear the call sign EasyJet, which is who flew to Gibraltar last year. So if that catches you off guard, don't be surprised. We're not far from getting onto the runway now. But yeah, my controls are inverted. Flight Sim likes to do that every so often for some reason. Alright, nearly there. I mean, we probably don't need the full runway anyway, but oh well. Hopefully we get a good experience as we get into Bret today. In the real world, it's not far from hurricane status. Force 13 main channel will probably do coverage tonight. Or something. We just produced an actual video on there as well. And please share this virtual Hurricane Hunter flight, because if we can get a few more subscribers, we're pretty close to the 5,000 mark here on Force 13 Extra. I think we need 16, something like that. It'd be great if you could help us get there. Alright then, we're not going to mess about, we're going to get straight out of here. We've already been cleared to take off. So we can go straight over the threshold and onto the runway without any waiting. Yeah, you'll keep hearing stuff like that. Pitching up a bit much. There we go. And there's beautiful Barbados underneath us. Great.
Adams Tower EasyJet 19er.
It's my co-pilot. Alright, so we're on our way. Let's just see if we can pop and look over the left hand side. There we are. Beautiful scene over Barbados. And we're moving off in a general east-northeast direction, headed for Bret, which is really not very far away. Those other guys on the let's get a bit more speed then. So that's all Bret in front of us. Although I'm sure I've got weather turned on the radar scope, but I'm not seeing a thing. What's the deal? We'll get to a good altitude and then we'll have a good view over the storm and be able to see everything then, hopefully. But yeah, we'll be there real quick. It's really a short distance. Yeah, that testament really as to how close the storm actually is to Barbados. Just about leaving the coast now. Lovely. Getting up to as high an altitude as we can really, so that we can have a look at the storm from above. But so far I'm not seeing any huge clouds, although it is very bright over there. It's quite hard to determine where the cloud line ends. $18,000 feet. So, by my reckoning, we are about 70 nautical miles away from the storm. I reckon it's probably more than that, because I just did an update saying it was 300 kilometers away, Barbados. So if we think about that, 300 kilometers is about, how many miles is that? Just less than 200, 190. But it really won't take long to cover 190 miles when we get to those high altitudes. Barbados is gone. We're over the water now. The Atlantic Ocean. Looks like there's some better clouds over there in the distance, so I can't quite tell how thick they are yet. Might just be some cirrus. There's 25,000 feet already. And yeah, I don't know if there's something wrong with this. I'm sure this is showing weather, but no sign of Bret. It should be there. Zoom out a bit. Really nothing showing up there on that scope, which I find curious to say the least. we're getting up a good speed now. Oh, and I should also mention that you can watch this stream in glorious 4K. I've just noticed the moon there as well, just above the horizon. $34,000 feet now. And we do see this big mass of cloud, but what exactly is it doing? Alright, let's look at chat. Mr. Huders. We will see Beatrice in the future. We haven't seen Adrian yet. Hold your horses. Tyler says that they live in the southeast corner of Queensland at Kippering, just north of Brisbane in Australia. Do you think Bret can be a hurricane? Bret could be a hurricane. It's not got very much time. And it'd be interesting to see what we find in our virtual recon flight. We're quite high now. 40,000 feet. This plane's service ceiling is 45,000, but you can get it higher than that, quite a bit higher actually. Alright, what can we see then? Well, gathering clouds there, and a big cirrus dome coming up right ahead of us and quite close to us. So we're going to get sucked into that in a minute. It is really bright, so it's impeding a little bit on what we can see. Feels like we haven't moved very much, but we have. We're really on the threshold of the storm now, pretty sure. Let's have a look over there. Can we see anything else? Yeah, there's a few clouds. This big cirrus band in front of us there. It's obviously the big shield round the storm itself. So we aren't far off. And hold on, are we finally seeing something on radar? Ah, we are. Good. I was wondering there, I was getting a bit worried that there was going to be nothing on the radar. Ah, okay, looks like there's some action over there onto our right. That's not at ground level either, so got to bear that in mind. Interesting. We'll see what happens when we get closer. Zachary says, have we heard about the storm in Western Europe? It was a level 3 risk. Stay tuned on Force 13 Europe. Yep, we have a regional channel for Europe. Take a look over there if you're interested in that. I'm sure they'll have lots of coverage. From what I saw, a major storm event that will be going on across Europe today, Western Europe. Oh, whilst we're waiting to get to the storm as well, I just want to float this one by you. The main channel on Force 13 is probably going to get to 100k in the next 2 months. So, we'd like to hear what ways could we celebrate that on the Force 13 channel. We'd love to hear some of your ideas. Send us a postcard if you want. So yeah, I believe Force 13 Europe are going live in the next hour, so I'll look into that one if you're interested. As for us here, we are getting close to Bret now. Still got a little way to go yet. But we are getting close. We're pretty much almost on top of the cirrus now. It's in this area. Just having a chilled out flight here, really. Ah yes, look, some red on that radar now. So, we've got to figure out where's the centre of Bret. Is it before that red zone, or is it after? Probably after. Then again, that is 100 nautical miles there. I think it probably has to be before, because we've already flown about 80 or 90 nautical miles. So I think the centre of the storm has to be before that big red line in the distance. All will become clear soon. Of course, with all our equipment, we'll be able to tell if the winds are changing round at altitude, and also be able to give us an idea of how well it's stacked. This is Force 13 Extra Live. We are flying into Bret. Tyler says, do we think Cindy can be a hurricane? Well, it hasn't even been named yet. GFS has some interesting suggestions later on in its life. I am skeptical. So we're nearly into the storm now. We're sort of above it, some of the cirrus over it. Things are going to get interesting soon. You get a feel of how big the ocean is when you fly over them. Huge things, and that's why we can get these massive storms that form over them. We're nearly at 50,000 feet, by the way. Very, very high up. It's the fastest, the most efficient way to get there, the higher you can get, really. Get a good handle on it, we'll start descending into the storm. Of course, we're not expecting to see a clear eye or anything, but you can just see how the cirrus continues to build. So we're obviously going in the right direction. You can see all on that radar there some significant storms down below us, or maybe even at our altitude or close to it. I'm also watching the wind estimates. Even at this altitude, you can get an idea of where the center is, and then you can start dropping down. But no wind shift yet. And if you fancy surfing along the wing, that's a bad idea. The temperature outside is minus 66 degrees Celsius. Feels like we've had to go quite far though to get to the storm. I just hope we've picked out the right area. But it's the only area of real severe stuff on our scope, so we're headed towards it. Look at all that now. Bit turbulent as well. Very close to these radar cells now, and it doesn't look like there's very much behind it. Huh. Can't see very much out there now. We must be close to the center of the storm, I reckon. Can't work it out at the minute. And to be honest, we're pretty much due east of Barbados, which I think we need to be a bit further north, but radar's showing all of this going on in front of us. That's starting to disappear now as well. It's probably because it's quite far down and it's just slipping away from our radar coverage as we start to fly over it. That's my guess at the minute. Yeah, I'm not sure whether we descend here or whether we keep going for a bit, or whether we even turn north now. I think we'll start descending a little just to get until we get a better idea of what's going on. See if we can get underneath this cirrus and see what we can see. So we're dropping a little bit here so that we can see what's going on in these clouds. Indication that there's some... Oh, that just flashed up. Alright, we've got radar. What's it showing now? Interesting. There's certainly a bit of something around here, and I'm curious to find out what. I'm still not sure that this is anywhere near the centre of the storm, but it's the only thing on the radar that's showing up with decent radar returns. Shouldn't be long until we punch through this cloud. Usually in tropical storms they tend to be at about 45,000 feet ceiling, if not higher. Around about that range right now. Go, we're starting to punch through it now. Let's see what it's hiding. We're still descending here, but it looks like the clouds are dropping lower in front of us, so I'm quite curious about what that's about. But yeah, we're going down to investigate this. I'm not sure that we're in the centre of Bret, but somewhere in the vicinity of it, looking for these radar signatures. I want to drop down underneath the Cirrus and have a look and see what's going on. Well, can't see much at the moment. I'm expecting at any point we'll fall through the bottom end of this Cirrus and hopefully get a good view of some more tasty clouds underneath. I'm just concerned that it might just be cloudy all the way down now, but it shouldn't be. Flown into enough of these that you don't usually see that. But this certainly is a very large bank of cirrus. It started about 45,000 feet, or 32 now. Usually it peters out definitely by the time you get below 30,000. We'll see. There's 30,000. And we still can't see a thing. I just need a clue that we're in the right place or near it. So I'm not convinced we are yet. Still interesting looking storms on the radar scope. That's the reason why I dove down in the first place, to have a look. Pulse 13 extra live, descending into at least part of Tropical Storm Bret. I'm not convinced it's the centre at all, but having said that, I am getting indications that the winds are getting pretty low now. So maybe we are near the centre. It looks like we're too far south for it to be that way, but I don't know. Looks like we've just reached the base of this cloud layer now. It was a massive cloud layer. And we start to see a few shapes there again. So what have we got? It's the big question now. What are we looking at? Is that all the way down to the bottom there? So pretty light cloud cover there. But there should be some real heavy rain to my left. A little bit more cloud there. I ain't sure about that. We're really descending now. It looks like we're close to the ground, but we've still got 18,000 feet to go. And just my real question at this point is, are we anywhere near the centre of this storm? I don't think so, but I'm slowly turning towards the north, which is where I think the centre will be. The plane's pitching up. Trying to get it damn thing back down again. Okay, so there's some heavier stuff over to the northwest. I think we should head towards that right now. All of a sudden it's gotten very dark. Really can't see very much in this storm. Oh, we've got some rain now. So you can see on that radar there's a few good spots of action there. And thunder. So whatever this is, it could contain strong winds. I still think we're nowhere near the centre of the storm. But some interesting looking storms there, which certainly warrant investigation. So we're going to keep descending, still at 18,000 feet. We've got some lightning. Wow. Damn, tons of lightning. So I would say that we're in the storm now. It's certainly not too bright anymore, is it? It's a lot darker now. Not really got any strong winds, but loads of lightning, quite a bit of rain. We get close to the ground, we should see some of those stronger winds. but so far all we've had is about 25 knots, which isn't very much. More crazy lightning. Still at 14,000 feet here. Gradually descending into this. Winds are getting a bit stronger now. 26 knots, still not very much. But I'm sure we'll see that continue to pick up here. We get into this next red zone as we get closer to the altitude that we like to measure the storms at. Basically as close to the ground as possible. Still at 12,000, still quite high. When you see a low-flying aircraft, you know, like a civil aviation plane above you, they're usually at a minimum of 3,000 feet, so 12,000 is quite a lot. Alright, looks like it's going to get heavy here. Interested to see what happens. Wind speed still gradually getting up there, 29 knots now. There's 30. It's like we're descending into the abyss. Boy. Thunder there, lightning. Really getting stormy now. Still only 33 knot winds, but it is still gradually rising. Keep watching that. Down to where we want to be yet. We're still at 6,000, just less than that. want to try and get down to about 500 to 1,000 feet. It's the ideal conditions. We won't go too low if we can't see the ground. Wow. Certainly a lot of rain in this. This is interesting then. We're still not getting very strong winds. At 32 knots right now, 33. But a lot of rainfall and we're near our low altitude now, so that's 2,000 feet. Those 1,000 feet. Visibility is so poor you can't see the ground at all. That's really low. There's 500 feet. And we still can't see the ground. And the automated system was angry with me there for not having a landing gear down. There's the water actually. Wow, real close. I don't know if you saw it. So let's get some speed up here. Alright, that'll do us. So very stormy, but not very high winds. We're going to turn right now. Well, 34, 35, 36 knots just then. We've got tropical storm force winds, but only just here. There's clearly other places that are bound to have higher winds. Visibility though is so poor in this. So the highest we've got so far is 37 knots sustained winds. As we start to leave one cell and approach another one. think we are gradually getting closer to the centre now. There we go, we can see a little bit there. Not much. Right. Alright, we're floating in towards our next storm system now. You can actually see some of those clouds ahead. Still getting 37 knot winds, gust of 38. So nothing too special at the moment. And look at this in front of us, some storminess right ahead of us. The way I see the wind going around, we can't be too far from the centre at this point. We just got our first 40 knot wind there. So that's 40 knots confirmed. Alright, here we go again. This could get pretty intense. Big red area on that radar, here it is. So 40 knot winds, we've got a gust of 43 just there. So we go straight into this red zone. Quite a small one. Wow, that was right in front of us. Brutal lightning. Another one. Winds are staying steady at low end tropical storm, 38 knots there. I should mention though, this is actually the southern side, which is far weaker than what the northern side should be. Problem is, I'm looking at the radar and I don't see anything on this northern side. Which is obviously very strange. Here we are popping out again of another shower, and things will start to clear up a bit. We are flying directly towards where the centre should be at this point, so let's see if we can go and find it, because there's nothing else to chase ahead of this in terms of storms by the looks of it. So just skim along the seas and look out for where the wave conditions get calmer, as that'll be near the centre. You might see on the water there a few white caps, and that's normal for 35 knots. But I'd like to see if we can find out where it gets a bit stiller, and then we can maybe extract a pressure reading near the centre of the storm. But again, I still don't know exactly how far away from the centre we are. We could be quite far. Although I'm surprised that we've got substantial storms like that there on the southern side. Yeah, really not seeing much on the radar now in front of us. There's out to 25 miles. There's a few little bits that have heavy cores, very small localized heavy cores. We're still getting 36 knot winds. At the moment we've got an indicated pressure of 1013, which is high obviously, and that also suggests that we might be quite far still from the centre. But we are definitely heading towards it in going this direction. Because I can tell that we're in the southwest quadrant. I'm actually getting some stronger winds there as well. 43 knots sustained now. It's the highest we've had so far. So maybe it's that there's not so much precipitation over there, but perhaps the winds are stronger. That's what happens when you go below 500 feet. They complain about no landing gear. You forgot your landing gear. Surely you're not landing. No, we're not. Yeah, not much is changing here. Still got 41 knot winds, gusting 44 now. Just getting into a little rain spike in front of us, which might be interesting. Very localized stuff. Or is it just passing to the left of us maybe? Just got a gust of 45 knots. They are generally going up at the minute. So that also suggests to me that maybe we've got a little way to go before we get to the strongest winds and then onto the centre. Air pressure isn't budging though. I'm doing something very risky here. I'm going to go to the loo. So that means the controls aren't in any kind of control, and hopefully what will happen is that it might do a bit of stalling and up and down stuff, but hopefully it won't turn over and we won't all die. If we do, then you can laugh at me. I'll be back in a minute, be very quick. Alright, good, we're still alive. Went off course slightly though. But it does give you a good view of a bunch of things. Water beneath us there. And a significant cell right next to us here that we're going to go into. From what I can tell, I think we're still a fair distance away from the centre of this storm. No, winds aren't very strong in that either. 36 knots sustained. Yeah, I think it's sort of this way towards the storm centre. I've still not seen any drop in the pressure. And I don't know whether we're getting a mild increase in wind speed, which means that we're still quite far from the centre, but then again, look ahead of us now, it's actually getting quite clear. Is that sky over there in the distance? So is this the centre, or what else it could be that we're approaching? It looks like the waters are getting a little bit calmer beneath us. We're still getting 42 knot winds, but maybe this is the centre that we're coming up to, slowly but surely. Let's keep watching those water conditions for a while. That's quite key. But we are still stuck at pressure of 1013, which is ridiculous. Far too high. No denying that it's clearing up over there. A few little rainy areas on our left, but honestly not much. which, if that's the case and there's virtually nothing ahead of us now, where's the whole northern side of this storm? I'm flabbergasted. Send in your questions. Tyler wanted us to fly into the thunderstorms in Europe. Well, we can't because we're here, and I don't think that the flight sim would resolve the European storms very well, or any really meso events like that it struggles with. Is this the beginning of summer 2023? Yeah. By most people's definitions, we are in summer now. Make an Atlantic Ocean for 2050 or 2025 or 2005 version 6, please. I'm going to step away from all of those requests. Still getting wind 41 knots sustained. The highest we've had so far is 43 knots sustained, gusting to 46 earlier, which really isn't very much in a storm that should be near hurricane status. We're inside Tropical Storm Bret, trying to find its centre now at this point. We flew into some pretty heavy weather earlier, but wind speeds have been quite unimpressive. Rainfall has been quite impressive at times, although that was on the southern side, which really shouldn't be producing that much. But it is on this virtual Hurricane Hunter live stream, meant to represent what a Hurricane Hunter crew might experience and see inside this storm. Accuracy could be better. It's a far cry from where it used to be though. I did my first ever Hurricane Hunter, virtual Hurricane Hunter mission in Hurricane Rick in 2009, and it was a category 5 in the real world, and I flew into it on Microsoft Flight Simulator X, and guess what was out there? Nothing. Blue skies. Needless to say, I was very disappointed. Winds have fallen, we're at 35 knots here. So I do think we are getting closer to the centre, but I've still not seen that pressure budge. Are we really going to be reporting a 10-13 millibar storm in virtual Hurricane Hunters? That's not very accurate. We should be finding something in the mid to high 990s if it's going to be true to life. It's continuing to clear up in front of us as well. So that must mean that that's the centre of the storm. Then again, looking at where I am on the map now, I think I'm at the same latitude as Martinique now. So I can't see that the storm centre would be further north than this, because it shouldn't be. And that has got me really confused now. I don't know what's going on with this. But then the winds are still going down, so I don't know. I really don't know. Or am I on the northeastern side now? Hold on a minute. I'm on the northeastern side. That's why. Let's swing it round. Let's get some power and go back into the storm, but we'll just do a big bunny hop over there and get some altitude We're on the northeastern side of the storm. We were never on the southwestern side. I just can't read. So let's get some more altitude and get back into Bret. Maximum winds that we got so far were 44 knots. 43, 44 knots sustained winds. And now let's go right up here and plonk ourselves right back into the centre of the storm. Hopefully just a few minutes. Not going to go too high, but get a decent altitude going. So here we are again at 8,000 feet. Heading back into the storm because we're on the northeastern side, it transpired. To do some more hurricane hunting. Will we find hurricane force winds? I highly doubt it. National Hurricane Center will be doing their real world update shortly. In fact, they already have produced their real world update. They've not gone with a hurricane, just so everyone's aware of that. Not much has changed in the forecast, and no changes in warnings either. And as a matter of fact, they have bumped up the pressure to 999 from their earlier estimate of 996. My estimate earlier was 998. Let's see what virtual recon finds. So far, it's not looking very promising. Gives us a good view of what's up ahead. But we are looking for the elusive center of Bret. Where are you? Massive cloud over there in the distance, a big bank in front of us, some little showers on the left that we went through earlier. we still haven't found very strong winds. So this time we're going to fly around these storms and try and find the center of this thing. Plus 13 extra live virtual hurricane hunters. Here we are. So far we've managed to capture 43 knot winds in the northeastern quadrant. We're now getting back towards the centre from the northeast. Looks like there's plenty of heavy weather ahead of us. Just doing a very gradual descent, as fast as we can really, because we feel like we've wasted a lot of time going the wrong way for quite a few minutes before. All along this area, very similar conditions, around 35 to 40 knot winds, gusting to 45. It's a big area of rain that's coming up. We're just going to glance it off to the right hand side as we go and search for the centre of this storm now. No idea how far it is. Actually, it's looking a bit choppier down there, so, you know, I think we've got to get through some stronger winds before we get to the centre. We must be some distance from the centre then. We'll get there though. Still getting 40 knot winds, no change in pressure, it's still marked at 1013, which is way too high. still it's been quite smooth so far here. Winds again up to about 40 knots. But I'm still seeing no indications of a wind change or dropping pressure or anything. But there's this big gap in front of us now, which, I don't know, is that going to be the centre of the storm? Or is it on the other side of those distant clouds? Honestly, no idea at the minute. We are getting some slightly stronger winds here, 42 knots sustained. Still a little bit of an altitude. There's that really big dark cell over there that we're just passing. We were in that earlier. Winds are still getting up here. Oh. There's 45 knots sustained. And we've just had a gust now of 47. That's the new highest on both. So yeah. Things are still getting windier before we get near the centre. And we've just had finally a slight pressure drop to 10-12 now. But there's not much cloud in front of us. I mean, where is the centre? Is it dead ahead of us? We just had a 49 knot gust there. Sustained 46 now. But no preset right here at all. Still got a gust, sustained winds of 46 right now. It's the highest we've had so far. And you might notice that we are being blown off to the right here quite a lot. I think I'm going to have to go for a bit more of a leftward turn to counteract that. I guess you only notice that more when it's clearer skies than when we do when we're in the clouds. Because we've had much stronger winds than this and we haven't noticed. Another big storm on the left off screen, and maybe that's one up ahead as well. power. Those winds are starting to drop again, so wow, fancy that. That was cool. High winds again here, 46 knots sustained. So that's enough to give Bret 50 miles per hour, but I think we know that it's stronger than that. Surprised at the lack of cloud in this area. Let's just get some altitude again. There's not much to look at here, is there? We'll see if we can visually see the water below. Wow, look at that. Where things are getting calm. Oh my goodness. Alright, eagle eyes out there. Let's see if we can find the center of this storm based on the waters. Well, it still looks choppy all the way down there. I guess we'll watch the light show for a little bit then. Loads of lightning going on right here. As soon as I say that, it stops. That's certainly a big rain bank in Bret right now. Oh, there's another one. 2. Cool. Wow. Alright. Any signs that the water's calming over here? Not yet. There's really not much to see. The centre is in this direction. As a matter of fact, it's barely even under that cirrus that we were flying over to get to where we thought the centre of the storm might be. It clearly isn't very well stacked. Alright, let's gradually go back down again. No, let's not. There's still further to go there. So where is the centre? Is it under that cloud? I'm quite baffled at this point. Oh, hold on a minute. What's going on? Oh, looks like the centre might be further to the left, actually, according to the latest wind profiles I'm getting up here. Still quite choppy down there, but... So, we reckon maybe the centre's over here somewhere. We need that central pressure fix. We're trying to find it. Expeditiously. Now it's pointing me this way again. Struggling to see much now, but we're still heading towards the centre. It must be over here somewhere, but you look at the weather, there's not much to see. This is a borderline hurricane? Not on here, it isn't. Not on our virtual hurricane hunting live. It's pointing me nearly westwards again now, towards that cloud again. Looks like we're indicating a pressure of 1011 at the moment. It's still way too high. Yep, these flights are just me. I've tied up the rest of the team and they are being held hostage in the back. Actually, we got indications now of 10 millibars. Okay, looks like we're making progress then. The centre has to be this way, and it must be behind this big cloud. Man, this has been a devious storm. Oh. Why did it do that? Oh, you can hear the thunder there. We're almost all the way back where we started. Not that far away from Barbados. And we still haven't located the centre of Bret yet. Gonna punch a hole through this cloud in a minute as we gradually descend towards what should finally be the centre of this storm. But there's nothing here. Rain-wise, it's just nothing. What's going on with it? We saw a maximum of 46 knot winds, I think it was. Gusting to 49. That's what we saw earlier. Damn it. Lightning's just waiting behind every cloud. Alright, I'm guessing the waters look calmer now. A little bit, not that much. But they are generally. So we can't be far away now from... Come on, honey. We can't be far away now from the... centre of this storm in whatever form it comes. There's plenty of clouds here, but nothing much showing on radar at all. And where is the centre of this goddamn storm? That's the main question that we've had today. We surely can't be far away from it now. Because we're only about 100 nautical miles or a bit more from Barbados. It doesn't make sense. Now got a ground pressure estimate of 1009, so it's still going down. We're getting closer to the center. The sea is getting calmer. Just let go of the controls for a minute, and that's what happens when you let go of the controls. Decides it's going to go complete wander into the sky. Silly plane. Some more clouds. Water's still getting calmer, so we're getting closer and closer to the center, wherever that might be. But seriously, we're only about a 10-minute flight from Barbados at this point. If you went full throttle. So this storm is not far away at all. Alright, what can we see now? Clear that the seas are getting continuously calmer over there in the distance. That's got to be the way, but this just doesn't feel like a storm at all, does it? You know, I mean, this is suggesting that it's got an exposed center of circulation. Can't see that being true. If you've just joined us, welcome. We're still exploring Bret, and it looks a sorry state, doesn't it? But this is not to be taken that seriously. Bret looks a lot better than this in the real world. But I am a little bit astounded as to how poor it's looking on the simulator. I think we're getting very close to the centre now, and this time I really mean it. The good news is that the flight back will be very short now because we've done half of that getting to the centre. We took off from Barbados. We'll be landing though in Martinique. As soon as we locate this centre, which is probably going to end up being around 1008 millibars, which, you know, I don't know why. The maximum wind that we saw so far was 46, 47 knots, gusting to 49. And we're not going to see anything higher than that. And that was in the northeast quad, so... Alright, looks like we're very, very near the centre now, so let's descend more quickly here. Just getting indications that the centre is very, very close by. (2,500 feet). Pressure still 1009. Winds are down to 8 knots. Means we're very close to the centre. And you can see in front of us just how calm this section of sea is. This is where the centre of Bret is. Like glass. Still at 8 knot winds. Could we get the pressure a bit lower? It's still saying 1009. Way too high, if you ask me. I can't believe this. This centre is way further west than it ought to be. We'll almost be in sight of Barbados in a minute. Wind's down to 6 knots. Let's see, how far are we from Barbados now? There it is. It's about 60 nautical miles away only. 60 nautical miles. If we were higher up, you'd be able to see it. That's where we took off from 2 hours ago. It's taken us this long to find the bloody centre of this thing. But yeah, it's right around here. We're really close. We're down to 5 knots, 4 knots. Slow this thing down a bit so we can get a proper centre fix. Wind's down to 3 knots, so we're really close, or anywhere around here. slightly off to our right now. Look how calm that is. Oh man. It's incredibly calm. So this is the center of Bret, even though it doesn't look like. Less than 1,000 feet. Can't even discern anything along most of that water. Amazing. And it looks like our central pressure is 1009 millibars, which I think is bananas. It ought to be much lower than that. But we're down to 2 knot winds here, so we are literally on top of the center. 1 knot now. 0.9, 0.8, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, and it's just past it now. We've just gone to the other side. We got that close to the center, 0.2 knot winds. So that's the center of Bret. Let's get out of here. Let's go and land in Martinique and have dinner. Oh, wrong way. Let's get out of here. So, overall, maximum winds 47 knots, maximum gust 52 knots. Sorry, 49 knots it was. Central pressure 1009 millibars. The real Bret is a lot stronger than that, I assure you. But that's what we caught here on Virtual Hurricane Hunters. And now we're headed back to Martinique, where we're going to land. It's not very far. Won't take very long at all for us to get there. Well, actually, maybe we'll have a change of plan. Let's have a bit more of a challenging landing. We'll land on the northern side of St. Lucia, because that's actually close to where the storm will pass as well, so that'll be cool, interesting. So we're going to go there. We're going to land at... what airport is this? We're going to land at Castries. And the airport is called George F.T. Charles Airport. It's got a decent runway. But yeah, let's go there. What is this plane doing? God damn it. I wasn't watching. Behave yourself. Right then, let's see, how far is it to Castries then? It is around about 120 nautical miles. Won't take too long to cover in this plane. Get to a good altitude. And then we'll get there. If you want to have a bit of fun, ask any questions, get silly answers, I don't know. Send in any messages you want. But I'm going to sit back for a bit and chill here whilst watching the view as we get towards landing. Lovely day for it, by the way. Great flying conditions over the islands. That will be all changed later on though. Why does this damn thing always want to pitch up? In fact, you'll probably see Barbados now. There it is in the distance. Barbados, that's where we took off from earlier. And soon you'll see the other islands out in front as well. And St. Lucia is where we're headed after that change of plan. Won't take too long for us to get there. We'll probably be down in 25 minutes. Once we're done here, of course, you can always follow the Force 13 main channel stream, automated stream running 24/7 during the life of Tropical Storm Bret. And we'll have more updates on the main channel later today, with a possible live event this evening as the storm reaches these islands. So I guess enjoy the sound of the engines and the atmosphere rushing by us. I always enjoy listening to that. Helps me fall asleep, actually. I nearly fell asleep during this flight. Nightmare. Just getting to altitude, we've still got a bit of a distance to go before we wash ashore St. Lucia. About 100 nautical miles. And our ground speed probably a bit more than double that, and that means we'd be down there in less than half an hour. might be St. Lucia in the far distance over there, can't tell yet. Quite high up now, 38,000 feet nearly. On our way back to St. Lucia, where we'll be landing fairly soon. Certainly before the end of the hour. So yeah, an interesting flight that was, but we didn't really see a huge amount in Bret. A few storms, quite a lot of lightning. As I said earlier, the maximum wind we got was 47 knots with a gust to 49 and a pressure of 1009. Apparently that makes sense in the flight sim world, but not in the real world. Bret is much stronger than that. In the real world it's estimated at 999 millibars and probably 65 to 70 miles per hour winds. That's 60 knots, by the way. Passing Barbados now. Look how close it is to us. There it is. That's where we took off from earlier today. Pretty soon it'll be time to start descending for St. Lucia. Bit of air traffic control there, that's not us. Figure out what airport that is. They're not responding, are they? That's a lot of instructions. Ethan says, what do you make of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024? Without it being out yet, I've no idea. But I'm skeptical, very skeptical. Graphics wise, it didn't look that much better. They're on about all those scenarios, but I can't imagine that most of them would be proper free world scenarios, and they might just be like mission type stuff where you can only play it through once and not get much replayability about it. But I don't know, if they do manage to incorporate some of those elements into the free world, that would be pretty amazing. But I am very skeptical right now. Oh, just wait and see. Wait for more info. I've not dug around for info. I don't know if they're maybe using a better, whether they're upgrading weather at all, or what other upgrades there will be, or whether they're just going to do some more money grabbing and get loads of stuff on DLC. And I can understand some people being pretty pissed off about it, because when Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 came out, it had been 14 years since the last proper flight sim title. And so I think when 2020 came out, people sort of expected that this would last for a good while and they'd add on to it without doing a new standalone title. I don't really know how to feel about that myself, considering that they did it all the time back in the day. Flight Sim 2000, 2002, 2004, and then X. So they had like 1, 2, 3, 4 titles in 6 years there. So I'm not sure. Having said that, in those titles there were significant improvements each time. So I guess it's good if they've done significant improvements. It's nearly time to descend. Yep, it's definitely time to descend. That's St. Lucia right in front of us. Alright, that's where we're landing, folks. Weather looks good. We're landing in Castries, which I think is the largest town on the island. On the far side there, near the northern part of the island. So we're approaching to land now, and that will be the end of our flight. Hopefully we do a good landing. It's been quite a while since I did the flight sim, so I might be a little bit rusty. Ethan says he's unhappy about Flight Sim 24. I can understand that. Alright, we are descending. I want to descend a bit quicker than that. Let's descend as fast as we can. Fast as we can get away with. Without overspeeding. way down. See if we can get in touch with the tower. Oh crap. Stupid camera.
Tower EasyJet 196 tree.
That's my co-pilot.
Flight level tree 65 with Oscar to land.
EasyJet 196 tree tower. Altimeter 29.881095 at 12. Flight left traffic runway 09er.
Fly left traffic runway 09er EasyJet 196 tree.
It's all there right in front of us. Going to pass over the island to the south of the airport and then turn around to land. Far now. Shout out to anyone watching from St. Lucia. We are arriving at your place in a few moments. We're on a very steep descent here. Really getting us down quickly. 16,000 feet to go. Sorry, 18,000. Is that a big hill? What is that? That is a big hill. A couple of them. What interesting terrain. have to protract our landing pattern by going even further south and then swinging up north because we've still got too much speed and altitude. So this is St. Lucia. That's where we'll be landing in just a few minutes. Hurricane watch, we're in this location right now for Tropical Storm Bret. Oh, it's the Soufriere Hills. That's what they are. You may have heard that name before. I think that name is popular because of a volcanic eruption, if I remember right. Oh boy. That's because I went under 8,000 feet. For some reason, overspeed goes down loads when I drop below there. No idea why. Sorry about that. Let's get the gear down then. Nearly there now. Then where's the runway? Which one is it? Good.
Cleared to land runway 09er EasyJet 19er 63.
All I need to do is spot the runway now. It should be on that little bit of land on the right, in the blind spot right now. Let's see. Where are you? There it is. Perfect. All lined up and ready to land. He said the wind was 12 knots. It's actually 25 up here. It must go down rapidly to the surface. I've run out of speed. More speed needed. Alright. Quite a short runway. Oh, what's going on, man? Oh, we only just managed that. Looked like we were going to stall then. Bad plane. Now we need to get it down. There's a car in the road! Get out! Go away! What are you doing? Alright, we're here. Lucia. Alright, where's the runway exit? What the hell's that? Anyway, oh, we gotta turn around and go all the way up to the other end again. Damn it. I can't! It's all the way up there! Alright. I hope everyone has a great afternoon in St. Lucia. Enjoy the beach. Wish I was there. I sort of am. I'm trying! Right. Here's an exit. That's where that car was. Moron. Finished. Well, that's it, everyone. Have a great day. Temperature on the ground here is 31 degrees Celsius and a pressure of 1014 millibars. That was Tropical Storm Bret Recon. Oh, shut up. Get out of here.